welcome back to Well Played, presented by theSkimm. I'm Caroline Hendershot.
And I'm Blake Morgan. Today we're talking about butter yellow. Because Caroline, first of all, if you go to the YouTube video, looks stunning. Stunnista, some may say.
You're so sweet.
In butter yellow. However,
I have started arguing this morning, obviously, with Blake that butter yellow is just yellow. Is
wrong.
it not?
Wrong.
What?
Is baby pink just pink? Like, sure, is a square a rectangle or is a rectangle a square? That's
Actually,
like what you're saying right now.
one of them is true. One of them is true.
I know. And don't ask me which one because I was never good at math. Geometry? That's it.
Geometry? But yeah, I just think that like the basic yellow shade is this. Sorry.
Basic yellow shade?
Yeah.
You're tripping.
Look up yellow in the dictionary. It's this.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, objectively wrong. But
Okay.
I will say, so you told me that butter yellow is the color of the summer?
Yeah, it's like been trending since spring. welcome to the planet, Blake.
Sorry, I don't follow trends.
Because she's a trendsetter.
No, but it's the reason I bring this up is because I got fed a butter yellow TikTok yesterday.
Oh.
And then on the subway, they've been airing these ads constantly of this woman being like, 4 ways to style butter yellow. And so I didn't realize that it was such a thing, truly.
They were trying to target you. You just weren't open to it.
Right. My blinders were on.
They were on.
But big butter yellow is, you know, like how big ag,
big pharma,
big dairy.
No, it's big butter yellow.
yellow.
It's coming for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Caroline's
And
patient zero. She's patient zero.
And I am drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay, we have a lot to get into today, Miss Girl.
Yeah, let's just get right into it.
Okay, I love that. All right, let's begin playing the field today with the NBA Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder secured their first ever championship with a 103-91 victory over the Indiana Pacers in a Game 7 that was marred by an Achilles injury to Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton.
That was really hard to watch.
Sick to my stomach.
You see his Achilles pop.
No, and I think people that maybe haven't watched, I mean, I famously was a mere 10 feet from Mr. Aaron Rodgers when his Achilles also popped. Yes. And when you watch replays now, I mean, I'm so traumatized by that moment that when I watch replays of an injury, I can immediately see, oh, there's it snapping. Like, it's so clear as day to me. And when I saw the replay, I was like, oh, don't even. I was so sad.
The replays are a little graphic,
They're
so
hard
do
to
not watch
watch
if you're squeamish, I should say. The breakout player, Tyrese, of these playoffs, he was attempting to play through an injury when he went down. It was actually a non-contact injury, so he kind of just
Which is really when you know. Like, when the non-contacts are when you know it's bad.
Yeah. And it was in the opening minutes of the game, which is so terrible.
So
like,
sad.
And of course, as we know, Pacers did not bring home the W.
I know.
And people are now talking about the fact that not one, not two, but 3 different stars have suffered an Achilles tear in this year's playoffs. Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, and Dame Lillard. And weird coincidence, they all wear the number 0.
There's some curse going on there. I don't know what it is.
I mean, also, I would personally never want to be number 0.
I just think it's not really a pretty number.
Right?
You know, like some numbers are pretty to me. For example, 7, ugly number.
Yeah.
I don't make the rules. It's
so what's
just
a pretty number to you?
5 is pretty. 4 is
5
pretty.
and 7 are the same. I always think I
not.
just don't like odd numbers personally.
Yeah. I was always
odd number. I mean, even numbered.
but I like 11. Like 11 was
that's
always
nice.
my go-to number. That's a pretty number.
I was always 6 because my fortune cookies would literally always give me lucky number 6.
Isn't 6 like an inherently lucky number?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe I'm making that
But
up.
then I had to pick another number because Jenny Brower.
And we'll save that
Jenny
trauma.
Brower was number 6 when I
got
promoted to the A
time.
team in travel soccer. She was already number 6, so I had to pick number 20. So another even one.
Damn it, Jenny.
Yeah.
All right. People are also back to talking about everyone's favorite topic in the NBA, shortening the season, because many claim that reducing the total number of games from 82 would limit injuries in the playoffs. Now, I famously have been watching The Last Dance very sporadically with Scott.
For years now.
Yeah, for years. Just have never finished
one episode a year.
Rewatching. And I was just kind of watching another episode last night as I was doing my notes for this. And I'm like, oh my God, they were playing 82 games. Why? What's the difference? Like, why is that? Is it because it's more physical now? Like, I don't know, because a lot of older basketball players from the previous generation are saying it's not as physical. They're not trying as hard. So I'm like, I'm interested in like what that difference is now, because they've been playing 82 games since like the 60s. And then, of course, this question then reintroduces the topic of load management, because that's why players are like, the season's too long, we play too many games, so that's why they have like load management reasons of taking off some games. So that's interesting to me. And then finally, hockey also plays 82 games.
Really?
The sport of hockey, which I didn't know. I had to ask Scott. And that was crazy to me too, because I'm like, that seems so much more physical to me. Not like that one's harder than the other, but it just seems more physically demanding. So I'm like,
well, they're always getting into fights,
yeah,
which I feel like does take a toll on the body.
One would assume, you know, yeah.
But also, I feel like it's never going to happen, right? Because
no, I don't think it will ever happen, because money. Yeah, like that will just not happen. I mean, we've seen this across sports. The NFL was in the talks of trying to add an 18th game, or not 18th game, but yes, 18th game, and make it like a 19-week season, just literally for the whole purpose of money. Like it's a revenue productive sport. So I don't know. It's messy. Messy. But
Sorry,
I don't
boys.
think it will happen.
No, but it's unfortunate that 3 stars had this crazy, like that's an injury. So that's the thing. It's like we're not going to see Tyrese Halliburton next season probably.
I know.
He's got to recover.
Yeah, he's predicted to be out for the entire next season.
In a year,
Yeah.
I would be so bored.
I know.
I'd be so bored.
And it's like also rehab is the most frustrating process.
I actually learned that through my boyfriend's brother, who is going to be a PT, that I have chronic instability in my ankles, and apparently,
so you got bendy ankles.
Yeah, because when I went to Area 53 Action Adventure Park 2 weeks ago for my friend's birthday. No, I'm not 12 years old.
Yes, you are.
And I think I told you last week, I stepped off the mat. I twisted my ankle.
Of course. And
when I was in 6th grade at my first dance competition of the season, the first dance, I went into a leap. I landed on my foot. I broke my foot. And my boyfriend's brother asked, "Did you ever go to PT?" And I said, "No. I was 12 years old.
Why would I do that?
How would I have known? That was my parents' job." And so I never went to PT, kept spraining my ankle. Here we are today, falling off mats, spraining my ankle.
Not great, Bob.
Yeah.
Bob. I broke my foot when I was 2.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Fell off a beach ball, allegedly. All right. So there also may have been a little bit of extra motivation for the Pacers, because head coach Rick Carlisle was talking about the buses, the OKC buses, before the game, because someone, we have no idea who, maybe took a little video of the OKC buses that were already painted with like championship and like or champion, sorry, all over them and like ready for their parade. It would have been, he was quoted saying in the press conference, like, "Oh, that's all I've been thinking about since I saw that. It would have been so much cooler if they won."
Yeah.
Like the
Rick
Pacers
Carlisle,
won.
come on.
I know. But I really like him. I stan him.
But people were like, NBA's rigged. Why do they already have the buses ready? Did they already know?
I
But they
know.
probably had the Pacer buses too, right?
I don't know, because the OKC bus, the game was in OKC. So maybe that's why, you know?
So the NBA is rigged. Thank you, Caroline
You're
Hendershot,
welcome.
for your excellent reporting.
You heard it here first. Yeah, but I mean, the game was so close. It was like 1 point difference at halftime. And then they really took it away in the second half. So sad. Okay, wait. Also, sorry, did you see the video that's gone viral of Pacer star Pascal Siakam? He went viral before Game 6 because they're in the huddle. There's this video. They're all in the huddle. Their heads are down. They're like talking, whatever. Pascal Siakam looks up and his head like is sticking up above everyone else's, and his eyes are like rolled to the back of his head so you can only see the whites of his eyes. He quite literally was possessed. Yeah. That was the last time I think we saw the real Pascal Siakam, because something took over that man's body.
It was very demonic. I did see that.
Yeah. He later, like, there's this video of him watching that and being like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." I have to remind myself to close my eyes, because a lot of the times I think I'm closing my eyes and I'm not actually closing my eyes. And that happened like a lot more in the past.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize it was happening.
I read about him, and apparently he prays before every game. And so he was like head up, trying to pray for the win, and then he just forgets to like close his eyes, like you said. You know, he actually graduated from seminary school.
Yes, I did.
Crazy
turnaround. Yeah, the pipeline for him to the NBA was very interesting. But yeah, that was crazy. So I'm just convinced that he is partly possessed, also because he also happened to be on the court for Jason Tatum's Achilles injury. So I don't know. There's some spooky shit going on. I don't think he would like curse his own teammate though. So
no, that seems wrong.
Yeah.
Unless the NBA is rigged.
Correct. And here we are back at the point.
Okay, also a fun fact. OKC is the second youngest NBA champion in history, as evidenced by not only the average age, which I believe is 24.7 years old of all the players, which is so wild.
That's crazy.
How old am I? Turning 27? Okay. But also evidenced by 31-year-old Alex Caruso. He had to teach his teammates how to pop open a bottle of champagne.
That was hilarious.
I mean, if you think about it, if the average age is 24.7, COVID, we take away 2 years, they're really only like 22.
Carry the one, add 3.
Girl math, you know what I mean? Like, they're only 22. They've barely had time to drink. Also, they're elite athletes. They probably don't drink much.
Okay, sure. But also...
What?
We're really waiting till 21? Sorry, I didn't say that. Who said that? Not me. But also, like, I feel like there's a lot of like Europeans in the NBA, so that drinking age is different.
True.
I don't know. It was just crazy. The amount of bottles that were left like untouched in the locker room, wild. Wild.
I would have taken one home.
Yeah.
That's my vibe.
Just for fun. You know, why not? I guess they don't have
they
to
probably
worry
get that. You're right. They're not pressed for
No. So Sean tried to like frame it as Gen Z doesn't like having fun.
Yeah. Gen Z doesn't like to party. He
was also taking a direct shot at us.
Right, in our pitch
which
meeting.
Like, thanks, producer Sean. So
I party.
I
party hardy.
I'm fun. Oh, and Jalen Williams had his first drink ever, and he tried beer, and you can see him like take a sip, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
He's like, where's the tequila? And I'm like, I get that. I get that. But okay, last but not least, we just have to quickly cover Kristen Chenoweth. Do you know her? Yes, you do.
Of course I know her. Miss Wicked.
Yes, Miss Wicked.
Galinda from Wicked.
Miss Glee. Like, she is the musical theater woman who does it all. So she got a lot of heat from people who thought her performance of the national anthem was over the top. And let me just say one thing. First of all, this woman never does anything half-assed. Second of all, Extra is her middle name, and she's proud of it. Did you see the boots she was wearing? They were amazing. And third, I actually didn't think it was that crazy. It wasn't good. Yeah. So, like, it's better than, like, the Fergie rendition that, like, was crazy and had people laughing.
I can do it. Ready? This is Fergie. Okay. For the land of the free.
That was so beautiful.
Honestly, I could probably do a better job, but that's for next episode.
That should be like our intro song. But yeah, that's that.
She did not deserve that flack. I didn't even realize she was going to hit that note at the end.
It was
up. Opera. It was literally opera. How could you complain for seeing free opera?
Yeah.
Y'all. Come on.
Free?
Free 99 in this economy? Come on.
Then, okay, and in other NBA news, Kevin Durant, formerly of the Phoenix Suns, also made headlines on the day of Game 7 at Fanatics Fest in New York City because he learned he was traded to the Houston Rockets live on stage at the event. So he confirmed later that he knew that the trade was probably coming. So it wasn't like a complete blindside, but he didn't know when. But still, imagine you are quite literally in the middle of a live Q&A interview, like thousands of people, I'm sure, if not hundreds, thousands probably, in front of you. And then, they're all screaming at you. It was like insane.
And pointing their phone at you, and you don't know why.
It felt like a circus animal. Like they were at the and I was like, this is aggressive.
This is how I imagine I would feel. This never happened to me. But if I was like a child and my parents were like with their phone up, you're going to Disney World, I'd be like, why the fuck are you recording me, first of all?
I can't see you over the phone.
Right. Like, let me have my private moment. I don't want all this attention on me right now, please.
Yeah. It's not great.
Especially at a job change. I mean, again, he seems decently excited, but
yeah,
he's like hopped teams a lot.
Yeah, he's been here, there, and everywhere.
He's like the millennial in the job market who just never stays at a company for more than a year because he knows.
But he did say, like, we're gonna see what happens, and so he wasn't like, he didn't say anything bad about it.
Right. He seemed, honestly, the media training was tight because if it were me, I'd be like,
I know, me too. My facial expressions would give it away 100%.
He barely moved.
So the trade has Durant going to the Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick in the upcoming draft, and 5 second-round picks. So that's kind of crazy.
He's also kind of, for NBA terms, old. He's like 37, 38.
Yeah, that was nice of you to preface.
That seems like they're getting a lot.
Yeah. Let's move on to the WNBA.
Our preferred NBA.
Yeah, our preferred.
So we have to talk about Paige Beckers of the WNBA, who became the fastest player to score 200 points since 2006. I need to sit up. I'm like sunken into my seat.
You're lounging. It's okay.
So she's clearly living up to the hype that we knew she was going to bring when she joined the league. But what we're really interested in is the rumors about her relationship with former UConn teammate Azzi Fudd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rumors feels pretty confirmed to me.
Yeah. So let us just say that for weeks, we have been telling producer Sean, hey, we're reading between the tea leaves. There's something going on here.
Ever since the finals.
We're connecting the dots. We're doing the girl math. Mm-hmm. There's something here. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no.
They're just friends.
They're just friends. First of all, listen to the woman every time. That's just fact number one. Second, producer Sean, told you so. So essentially, why we're saying this is that it's quote unquote, we've gotten the closest to confirmation without one of them actually saying that they are dating, because Azzi took a photo, a mirror selfie, and the back of her phone case said Paige Beckers' girlfriend. Yeah, it did. Boom. Sure did. Mm-hmm. Sure did. And
what were the things that came before, though? Let's set the scene a little for the audience.
There was the T-shirt that Paige wore of Azzi, right? After she scored 35, because Azzi's number is 35. I believe that. And then there was something else that
do you remember the TikTok of them?
Yes.
Where it's the trend where, like, it's usually a straight couple and the boy pays and the girl is like, how much was it? And so in this case, it was like Paige and Azzi. Mm-hmm. And Azzi's like, how much was it? And Paige was like, $200. And Azzi's like, that's not that bad. And Paige is just like,
and people were like, oh my God, this is a hard launch. And I was like, I'm not fully convinced yet.
Could we just be friends?
Yeah.
You know,
not fully
one's
convinced.
in college, one's playing professional sports.
Totally. Yeah, but now we
salary.
got it. Now we got it.
We got confirmation. They've actually known each other.
Forever.
I know. I didn't realize. Okay, yeah. I learned this because I watched a 13-minute TikTok last night.
That I also watched.
Of their relationship through the years. Mm-hmm. And it was set to the music from Up, so I was crying the entire time.
Yeah, it was emotional.
They've been friends since 2017. They were both trying out for a Team USA, like basketball team, probably for youth. And Azzi at first was just like, looked at Paige up and down. She's like, skinny white girl, I don't got any competition. And then she's like, oh, wait, I do.
Yeah.
And then they became fast friends.
Paige
would even visit her in D.C. Mm-hmm. Long distance best friends.
Yeah, I love
and then Paige was the one who recruited her to UConn.
Yep.
And gave her family a whole rundown of like why.
A presentation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was so cute hearing
love
that story of how she would show Azzi's family. She's like, these are the plays that I'm going to make with Azzi. These are the passes I'm going to give her. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. And then she ended up going.
Yeah, I freaking loved that TikTok. Thank you for sending that.
Of course. I also found 8 playlists on Spotify already dedicated to Paige. AKA Paige and Azzi.
What's the vibe of the playlist?
Definitely sapphic in nature.
Okay.
Some Billie Eilish for sure.
Do love Billie.
Yeah, I was just surprised. I first saw 1 and then I saw 8. So people are really tapped in.
They're
to
here
this
for it.
Story.
Also, side note, Paige Beckers does have a new Gatorade flavor.
The Shirley Temple flavor.
Yeah, I am itching to try. I'm not even like a big. Like, Gatorade just reminds me now of, like, youth soccer and also, like, when you're sick. But I don't drink it, is what I'm saying, currently.
But you have to try
I have to try it. And I'm not even, like, a crazy Shirley Temple fan. I mean, like, they're good, but I'm not, like, Paige level obsessed.
I used to slam those back when I was a kid, let me tell you.
Oh, damn. Mm-hmm. Crazy and wild.
And Gen Z doesn't like to party. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So... Now for our other story.
From the W.
Yeah, because they aren't the only ones making headlines.
Yeah. So newly acquired Indiana Fever player Sophie Cunningham had herself quite a week. Literally, so there was a Fever and Sun game.
On Tuesday.
It
was right after we freaking recorded.
Right,
This always happens.
This always happens to us. There's always something that carries over. And I mean, it really did carry over. I was seeing clips of this game all week into the weekend.
And guess what? I was eating every single one of them up.
I
could not get enough.
Same.
I just like, let's fucking go. Sorry,
so what
excuse my
happened?
French, Anne. But
is it Anne your mom?
No, Anne's our fan who doesn't like us swearing. Obviously,
she's basically like a mother.
Yeah, she is our mother. She's our internet mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me give you the rundown if you haven't already seen it. So, Caitlin Clark got in a heated back and forth with JC Sheldon, who of the
Connecticut Sun.
Yes, thank you so much. Of the Connecticut Sun. So they were getting in a heated back and forth. They've had a rivalry since the college days because they played against each other in college. Okay. So then a few plays later, Caitlin has the ball, and JC essentially, like, claims that she's going for the ball. She pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye, like, pretty hard. Like, across the face, you can see she clearly goes for her face. So then she's grabbing her eye, and she's like, oh, my God, ow. And she goes to, like, turn around, and one of the other Sun players, Maria Mabray, comes up and, like, chest bumps her, and she falls to the ground because she's like holding her eye, so she's like not really sure where she is. It was messed up because the whistle had already blown. Yeah, and then Mabray was like not called for any sort of ejection or whatever, so that was messed up. So then Sophie Cunningham, Miss Caitlin Clark's teammate, says, "Okay, you want to play it that way?
That
Bet, okay." And so then later in the game, she hard fouls the shit out of JC Sheldon. She literally grabs her by like the shoulders and the back and like drags her to the floor. She gets down. JC gets knocked down. She gets back up. She tries to get in Sophie Cunningham's face. Sophie Cunningham grabs her shoulders and is in her face and is like, do something about it. Do something about it. And I'm like, let's fucking go. And then also the best part, which I don't think enough people are highlighting, is in the slow-mo version of that video, there is a fan directly behind Sophie Cunningham who is literally jaw floor.
All of them.
Like, oh my God, she is the funniest face.
I literally screenshotted that moment because there was like a 10-year-old kid who was like, oh my God, like he was chipper. Yeah. All of them were like eating it up.
2 words for it: electric factory. It was incredible. I could not get enough of it.
I like that.
And then
factory.
Sophie Cunningham got ejected.
Yeah. People are saying that it wouldn't have gotten so crazy if it weren't for Marina staying in the game in the first place. Like in that first call where she checked Caitlin Clark after the play had finished. So while we don't condone violence, let us get that clear.
No.
You liked that Sophie Cunningham stood on business.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved
I mean, you like to see a teammate come for.
Yeah. And so she has now surpassed Clark as the most popular jersey in the WNBA. She actually sold out her jersey on the Fever's website by Wednesday morning, and they had to temporarily shut down the website because of the volume of people coming to buy her jersey. I think I now need one. Like, I'm not a jersey person, but I think I now need one.
Jerseys. Yeah.
No, but famously I don't.
Wait, also, did you know that JC Sheldon, like earlier this month, she and Sophie Cunningham collided, and she's the reason why Sophie Cunningham chipped her tooth earlier this month. So I feel like it was also
okay. Yeah, there was definitely a little bit of
built up tension, perhaps.
Yeah, animosity underlying there.
Okay, and I'm curious from your perspective, because I know that people love to shit on refs all the time. That's just like a part of sports, right?
Yeah.
But it feels like this time with this game, people are like, the refs should have stepped in. Like, Sophie Cunningham shouldn't have had to stand on business.
100%.
Because if the refs, like I said, just
it was like an
properly.
Egregious foul on Caitlin Clark. And not to mention, she's the star of your league. Like, you want people to come and watch this sport and you want to help it grow. Protect the freaking star of your league. You've seen how much of an influence she has when she's not playing. The freaking ratings went down 50%. So, like, I don't know, do your job. Like, I get allowing players to play and not being too ticky-tacky with calling all of the fouls and all of that. But, like, if this stuff happens in the NBA, it's immediately called.
Right.
So,
well, something that I learned was that, and did you know that the NBA refs are paid full-time? Like, they are salaried employees of the league.
I think I knew that.
And they can make they make like 6 figures.
Yeah.
They can make up to $500,000, depending on how old they are.
Transition.
I know. You really you should have been reffing these games from the beginning. I want to see you running up and down that sideline.
I'd look great in stripes.
You honestly would. And I don't know. I like the outfit.
Okay.
But meanwhile, the WNBA refs, they only, I think, get paid per game. Yeah. And it's like a couple $100. Yeah. So it's like, are they quiet quitting? Because it's like they're not getting paid enough. You know what I mean?
Sophie Cunningham's fine was $400.
Right. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Be for real. $400? That's supposed to deter someone? I mean, it just shows how small their salaries are, because if that's the fine you're getting, then, like, come on. Yeah. $400. Oh my God, that's light work for me at Sephora. Don't tell Scott. He's probably going to listen to this and yell at me later. Sorry.
I know, Miss Rouge member.
But yeah, so Sophie Cunningham also gained, she's over 1 million followers on TikTok now, and she's almost at 1 million on Insta. So, anyways.
I mean, she kind of won in that regard. Like,
I need her to come on the pod. I would just want to be her friend. Or even if she doesn't come on the pod, I would just like to be her friend. I'll take either.
Heard that.
I'll take either.
Sophie Cunningham, you're winning. But a quick roundup of other WNBA news. Loved this moment this week when Bam Adebayo trolled A'ja Wilson, his girlfriend, very publicly on Twitter, I believe, for her outfit. He called her Big Steppa after she was seen in a zebra print outfit, like a suit, a matching set, a zebra print matching set and these high white heels, walking, her tunnel fit. Pro publicly humiliating your significant other?
Pro.
In this case. I mean, it was all
like
jest.
in a nice, fun way.
It was objectively so funny. And I'm sure she was dying at his commentary after.
Brought me right back to, once again, when Scott says he doesn't like my outfit, I know that I've nailed it. Like, I had this dress, really, you know how pleats are very big right now? So I had this dress where it was like, it's all pleated. I made a TikTok about this. And I was having Scott rate my dresses that I was trying on because they were for my rehearsal welcome party. And I was having him rate them. All pleated, and he immediately goes, 1, maybe a 2. And I was like, what? This is so trendy and so, like, chic. And he was like, you look like an accordion. So that was pretty cool.
I like this about Scott.
I also tried on a dress with, like, a high neckline, and it had, like, pearls around the neck. He called me the Flintstone lady. So, so here's the thing. Like, I trust their fashion sense to a degree.
Right.
And then once I get past that threshold and I know I'm being like very trendy, I'm like, okay, if he hates it, I am onto something. So anyways, it was just relatable.
And then Cardi B's, I think she's coming out with an album this year.
Yes.
And she actually name dropped A'ja Wilson in her song called Outside with the line, let me in the locker room. And some ladies out in Vegas, A'ja Will, what's poppin', boo?
She's in her sporty girl era, Cardi B.
I mean... Yeah.
Stephon. She was courtside with Stephon.
Yep.
She's dating Stephon. I don't know.
Sporty girl. Song also, I don't know if you listened to it yet, but it's really great. It's very immediate catchy. Add to my running playlist.
Very catchy.
And then the last little WNBA, not really because Dawn Staley is not in the WNBA, but women's basketball news.
Yeah.
Kylie Kelce recorded a podcast with Dawn Staley, who is the head coach of the South Carolina women's basketball team, and she speculated about the prospect of bringing a WNBA franchise to Philadelphia, which is where Dawn Staley is from. And Kylie, what did she say? She was like, oh yeah, if there was a team in Philly, would you coach? And Dawn's like, no, what people don't realize is that I would actually be an owner. I would rather be an owner for a team in Philly, which so tracks.
That was so cool.
Yeah. And then Kylie's like, well, do it. Like, I'll invest.
Yeah.
And I could totally see this coming to fruition.
Yep.
I want to see it come to fruition.
Me as well.
I want Dawn to enter her owner era.
Yeah. Also,
she needs to take a break. You know what I mean? Like, win another championship, but then take a seat, girl.
Line. Yeah. Just like, no, I'd be an owner.
Yeah.
And, oh, same. We're going to continue playing the field with our new favorite segment, Pretty Boys of the NFL. Blake, would you care to share the Pretty Boy NFL story of the week?
Sure. So we're starting out with one Thomas Brady. I just realized last night, I was like, wait, I've been calling Tom Brady. I could call him Thomas Brady.
Wait, I don't
even know if that's his full name, but
it is now.
So Thomas Brady was one of the headliners of the first ever Fanatics Fest games. So I didn't know what Fanatics Fest was to begin with, which is probably crazy talk coming from me to somebody who works in sports. So what is Fanatics Fest for the people who don't know?
So Michael Rubin, who owns the company Fanatics, he puts on this Fanatics Fest. It was in the city this past weekend, and there's a ton of different like sports companies, athletes, different booths you can go to. It's like a whole slew of everything sports, and it's not just like one sport, it's everything. So there's NFL players there, there's NBA players there, there's professional women's hockey league players, there's soccer players. It's like everything. So it's just kind of almost like a epicenter for a weekend of the sports world.
Girl, that was a gorgeous skim.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Anyway, so they actually did a Fanatics Fest game this year. And Tom Brady took home the $1 million award.
Because of course he did.
Yeah.
For winning.
I was like, rigged.
Of course he
rigged. Because he had the highest score in the inaugural games. And it featured 50 fans and 50 athletes. I cannot believe of all those people he came in first place. I did watch the videos back. He looked extremely athletic still.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Still got it.
I know. I hate to say it, but
nice
he does.
Job, Tommy.
So the competition included 8 different games, including a football throwing competition, easy for him, soccer, baseball throwing, basketball shootout, and more. And he pledged to donate $5,000 to each of the fan competitors and give the rest to charity. I'd take a $5,000 bag.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain. Not at all.
And also, like, not for nothing, but Tom Brady, you better win these games because you have the most money out of all of us. You got the most free time. to hit
you also
the gym.
are the GOAT. So
you are the go-to. Yeah,
prove
sure.
it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also at the event, he appeared to break the Lombardi Trophy, the trophy that you win at the Super Bowl, with a throw to his former teammate, Rob Gronkowski. Now, here's the thing. These boys, they can play football. These boys cannot act.
They can't. No.
That was some terrible acting. Obviously a fake trophy. I was like, come on. You didn't even fool me for a hot second.
It was really Gronk that did it for me. He looked like a buffoon.
He tried. He did not succeed. So sorry, boys, but not great.
So Thomas also made headlines this week when it came out that he blocked the Vegas Raiders, of which he is now a part owner, from signing Sam Darnold as their next quarterback, and they instead went with Geno Smith. Okay, for somebody who doesn't really know or care, why did he do that? What's the backstory? Is it like pettiness?
Okay, well, I've been telling my dad this for months now, and I don't know if he has listened to me yet or if he's still in denial. But so the Raiders infamously did not like Tom Brady when he was on the Patriots because there was a game with the Tuck rule was born, and the Raiders ended up losing, and the Patriots got away with some shady stuff, and then they had to make a rule to change it, whatever. Long story short, Raiders did not like Tom Brady. So my dad was very anti.
Tom Brady.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I told him, the thing is, you're going to end up loving him because he's going to be a big factor in this decision-making process with all of these changes that are going to come down the pipeline with the Raiders. And he was like, guess what? I'm right, always. But so Sam Darnold had a crazy season last year with the Vikings and then was a free agent at the end of the season. So he could go wherever he wanted. So he was exploring all options. Now, there's always a method to Tom Brady's madness. So I don't know exactly why he didn't like Sam Darnold or didn't want him to go to the Raiders. Maybe it wasn't the right fit. Maybe he sees something that we don't know.
He has a no gingers rule.
Yeah, or maybe he's strictly against gingers. Could be. I personally like Sam Darnold. I thought he had a sicko mode season and that he deserved even more hype than he probably got. But there's a method to his madness. So he went with Geno Smith and he got Pete Carroll, old coach of the Seahawks, who used to coach Geno Smith with the Seahawks. They are both now reunited in Vegas.
So dynamic duo.
Yes.
Going to
we
Vegas.
got both of them over there. And so I'm like, okay, interesting. There's something happening here. Good song. But I just think that there's something underlying that he sees that we don't.
Okay.
Long story long.
I like that the moral of the story is just Tom Brady's got a method to his madness. We don't quite know yet, right?
Yeah, he's always up to something. Okay. So our next pretty boy of the NFL, none other than Mr. Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. He announced last week that he got married to a mystery woman of the weekend. Now, a report from the New York Post, this is how big of a deal it is, has cast doubt over the validity of that claim. So, according to their research, there's no public record of Rodgers' marriage anywhere.
Yes.
Now, does that strike me as alarming? No, because Rodgers would be the type of person to get married and not have it be on a public record, in my opinion.
Is that so? It's more spiritual in nature, like ceremonial.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my one train of thought, and then also my other train of thought was like, remember when he was like, "I'm immunized" during COVID, and he actually wasn't vaccinated. He was just coming up with semantics. I think like in 2 months he could be like, "Yeah, I'm married to the game."
Oh my God!
I'm
what
not
a
kidding.
Dork!
I'm not kidding. I think
what a dork! I have to say when we covered Aaron Rodgers, I think was it literally a week ago? It might have been.
Probably.
This was like a highly clicked story in our newsletter, despite like about Aaron Rodgers in general. Like apparently he does really well. Like y'all really seem to like him, even though to me,
I think it's not like him. I think he's just a very
people love
interesting
to
person.
have opinions about his weirdness.
For sure.
I just pointed at myself. Yeah.
But yeah, the identity of Rodgers' so-called wife, who he has only really revealed by the first name of Brittany, is like still in question. Like, is she even real? Because he was also spotted walking on the beach alone this week, which I mean, I
we all
too
can
enjoy
appreciate
some
a solo
walks. Jesus, that's scary.
And apparently his brother Jordan, who is married to JoJo Fletcher from The Bachelorette, didn't know about the wedding either.
That doesn't surprise me. He doesn't talk.
They're not friends.
He does not talk to him. Yeah.
I was reading a Yahoo article and it said friends and family though didn't know about this wedding?
Well, AJ Hawk, who's on the Pat McAfee show, who is one of his close friends, claimed that he didn't know anything about it, but he also claimed that he didn't know anything about Aaron going to the Jets way back when. So I don't know. I don't necessarily fully buy it.
I know this has nothing to do with sports, but really quick, I just need to get this off my chest about how Hailey Bieber has not been wearing her wedding ring recently.
Oh.
She's literally doing pap walks without the ring on, obviously. I'm wearing a ring.
That's kind of tea.
I know. So in the opposite of Aaron Rodgers.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speculated divorce.
Some ring fingers to watch, people. Okay, let's send it, shall we?
We're going to send it.
I'm going to nominate Stephen A. Smith's daughter, Samantha. Samantha Smith, oh my God, you are freaking hilarious. So she did this incredible impression. I mean, is it even an impression? She might actually just talk exactly like Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith Jr.
She talks exactly like him with the same inflection, the same kind of rhythm to her voice, but without the yelling. So I really appreciated that, actually. She guest starred on his show earlier this week, and it was just incredible. And she's so funny. She was calling out that people said that she has the same forehead.
That's
the
so
same
mean.
forehead as her dad, which come on.
They compared foreheads.
Yeah,
on
hers was smaller.
Yeah, it was smaller.
But yeah, they talked about going to Fanatics Fest together. I'm oh my God, I want to be her friend too.
She was so cute. I think she must only be 18.
She said she was in school, so I don't know if that means college or still high school.
Right. She's quite young though.
But she was hilarious.
She was so funny. She said the phrase for real, for real.
Oh yeah.
And you can just see Stephen A. He's just not even paying attention to any of the basketball talk she's saying because he's so fixated on the fact that she said for real, and he says it out loud. He's why'd you say for real twice? And she's because it's for real, but for real, for real.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, I get you, but you know how there are sentences that would kill a pilgrim?
Yeah.
I'm sure she says sentences that would kill him every single day.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So we're going to get her on the show.
Sean,
just watch.
Did you know what for real was? Had you heard that?
Wait, what?
For real? That wasn't me, actually.
He's shaking his head no.
Oh, my
what do you mean?
God. Do you
it's
live
for
under
real?
a rock? Real question. Patrick Starr? Do you live under a rock? Nailed it. SpongeBob. Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay. My send it I'm nominating is the second best person who has stepped foot in New Jersey.
Me?
You're probably third, I would say.
Okay.
I'm first. Second would be Adam Sandler. Because Adam Sandler was spotted hooping in Montclair, New Jersey. Hooping. I mean, he's always around New York.
He's always hooping.
He's always hooping in his funny little outfits. He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, and then shoes that did not match. They were pink.
I respect the fuck out of Adam Sandler outfits.
He's not a trendsetter.
Let me just say that.
He has never heard of butter yellow in his life.
Oversized, mismatching, shoes that don't look like they belong. That is me after I shower every night. I'm I look literally like Adam Sandler.
I know. I hate when I go to my friend's house. This is such a deep cut. I wonder if anyone can relate. I feel like you can't relate because I feel like you're very put together.
That's sweet of you.
So I hate when I go to my friend's house and they have cute pajamas and I literally show up in a t-shirt from 10th grade and Sophie shorts.
Here's the thing. I have both. And then I rotate. So
yeah, when the friends are over, you have your public facing pajamas and you have your private time pajamas. So he actually also has Happy Gilmore 2 coming out next month. And so I'm pitching this to his PR team. If you're listening, I think that instead of doing a typical press tour, he should just show up to public basketball courts around the country to promote Happy Gilmore 2. I know it has nothing to do with basketball. It's golf, obviously, but nobody wants to watch him play golf.
But you could wear Happy Gilmore stuff, you know?
Yes.
But I also would like to pitch to his PR team to come on theSkimm because he's a Jets fan.
He is?
Yeah, he is. So we could talk Jets football and Happy Gilmore 2.
Ooh. We're going to write our talent booker about this.
Yeah. So Adam, please come on. Okay, my other one, SGA of the Oklahoma City Thunder, took home the NBA Finals MVP trophy Sunday, but it wasn't his performance on stage it was his performance on stage, during the award ceremony that turned heads because he went from MVP studded basketball player to dad mode in the drop of a hat. I was oh, dad. Papa, daddy, okay. Not like that. Oh my God.
She said
Get
it.
your head out of the gutter. But his teammate, Isaiah Hartenstein, was carrying his baby kind of on his shoulder. But baby was knocked
out.
Conked out. He was tired. But when the babies don't have the utmost neck strength, broken neck, you
Right.
know? And so SGA was like behind him, like cradle his head.
I mean, Isaiah,
kinda
have you ever held your baby before? Come on. I mean, that's like the first thing you learn.
I know. I think maybe there was just like overstimulation,
on.
you know, but also the head, cradle the head.
Cradle the head.
But yeah, so SGA just went into dad mode.
Loved
and
that.
It was really sweet.
Yeah.
He also went on Good Morning America. I think it was yesterday morning. And after the night of celebrating, he looked tough.
He was cooked.
Yeah. Those eyes were like barely open.
He is like, he is above average age, I think, on that team. So
Yeah.
he probably has had drinks before, you know.
One would assume.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so our final send it comes courtesy of Serena Williams and her husband Alexis Ohanian, who posted their view of Beyonce's Cowboy Carter performance in Paris over the weekend with the caption, "Didn't know Beyonce was gonna fly tonight, damn." Because as somebody who went to the Cowboy Carter concert
give us
at
the
MetLife
tea.
Stadium, I can tell you what happens. So Beyonce flies in the air twice during the show.
Not a big deal.
One time it's on a horseshoe,
Of course.
a
Logically.
flying horseshoe, and the other time it's in a car. But I actually left early, so I didn't see the car, but I had seen videos.
That feels illegal, but go on.
Have you ever came home? You've probably come home from MetLife after a concert, I imagine,
I
or
was
no?
just about to say, you want to talk about coming home from LA?
Right, but football, it's different. No, it's not different.
Thank you.
Okay, I take it back.
Thank you.
Anyway, so yeah, she like literally just goes from the stage, gets picked up by the horseshoe, straps herself in, goes from like the stage.
Straps herself in.
I mean, her dancers strap her in, but she,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
essentially, and it's just her, and it goes from like the stage all the way to this platform on one side of the arena.
Damn.
Yeah, and I think on that platform is where Alexis and Serena were sitting. I think it's like a VIP section, but
Ooh.
then, you know, Beyonce gets to come say hi,
She's like, hey, guys.
literally right in front of you.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. And then the car at the end, she does fly, so she flew.
Not a big deal.
Also, actually, she brought Jay-Z on stage at this performance. And it's their first time performing on stage together in 7 years.
Whoa. I mean, that iconic one of that performance, it was when she was on tour, not last time, but maybe the time before that. And they perform, I forget what song, but it's like they're wearing black and white outfits. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Fine, whatever. I'll move on.
Sorry.
Wait. I also heard some rumblings that he might perform at the 2026 Super Bowl halftime.
Why are you whispering?
Because I don't
You don't know for sure?
For sure. But
Well, really, it's funny because I thought I heard that Dua Lipa was gonna.
See, that's why I'm
That
whispering.
seems way more likely than Jay-Z. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I agree.
I'm a Jay-Z hater.
That seems fair.
So I hope that he doesn't
did
get it.
cheat on Beyonce. So
Right.
hate
Mhm.
deserved. Okay, what's your favorite sentence of the week?
Wait, I closed my iPad.
Samantha Smith.
Oh,
Adam
Samantha
Sandler.
Smith.
Okay.
Hands down. She is going to overtake her father.
Yeah, I hope so.
If there's like nobody can humble a man more than his own daughter.
Yeah, love
And everybody
that.
praised her for shutting her dad up for
Mhm.
once.
Mhm.
And I think that's such a power, and she should use that power to her advantage.
I'm right there with you.
Mhm.
I would love to have her on the show.
Same.
Samantha,
She might be too young. Like we said, she's in school.
we could get a written letter of consent.
A
from
waiver
Stephen A.
from Stephen A. Smith. That would be actually so cool.
I would really appreciate that. Alrighty, well, that's it for this episode of Well Played. We'll be back in the studio next Tuesday.
No, we won't.
Oh my God, actually, we're going to be virtual next Tuesday. So we won't.
Yes.
But we'll still be here next Tuesday.
We will be.
Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you're listening. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You know the drill.
You do.
Send us a DM, but only nice ones.
Please.
They can follow you at...
BLAA's4KSE.
You can also, I was going to say, they can follow theSkimm at theSkimm. And you can also follow me at CG Hendy. So that's all we got. And until next time, thanks for listening to Well Played.
The only podcast in League of its own.